16 marbles compete in a single elimination tournament. Who will win? Our first match is Snowball on the left and Serpent on the right. And in this side-by-side tournament, the marbles will go down identical tracks, and the goal is to be the first one down, because if you end up being the last one down, then you will be eliminated from the competition. And Serpent right now has a lead on Snowball into the rails section, but they end up slowing down and Snowball launches their way past Serpent, and they now have a massive lead, and they are going to end up winning that race and will be the first marble in the quarterfinals. Who will be facing them? Will it be Amethyst on the left or Cotton Candy on the right? And that's just the beauty of these side-by-side races that we're getting a glimpse of, as there is a lot of unpredictability that can go on across the entire track. Both marbles are neck and neck through the loop and are very close through those snakes. Cotton Candy appears to have the lead onto the rails, but Amethyst ends up taking it from Cotton Candy. It's very close into this maze, but Cotton Candy reclaims the lead in that maze and will be joining Snowball in the second round. Match 3 has Red Ranger on the left and Twilight Twister on the right. And Cotton Candy just showed how not to lay your guard down, because if you actually slow down, then your chances of advancing will shrink to 0. And oh no, Red Ranger falls off of the 180, had too much speed going onto it, and all Twilight Twister now needs to do is just complete their section of the track, and it looks like that they're going to do just that. And what a disappointment for Red Ranger. They had a brief lead onto the 180, but too much speed will cost them. And Twilight Twister will take the third spot in the quarterfinals. Rocky Mountain on the left and Mariana Trench on the right, who will be facing Twilight Twister. And as this tournament goes on, there are certainly a lot of lessons that these marbles can learn, and that is another thing, is not to have so much speed through the 180 or any part of the track, because you could actually fall off of the track. And we are seeing Mariana Trench having a huge lead on Rocky Mountain, and Rocky Mountain appears to have just stalled out on the rail section and seem to have just given up, knowing that they will not be advancing. Mariana Trench will face Twilight Twister in the next round. And we are now into the second half of the tournament bracket. Our fifth match will be Glow Green on the left and Sea Striker on the right. And Sea Striker ever so slightly has a lead on Glower Green. They are very close. Glower Green now has the lead, it appears. It is still very close, and that is the beauty of these side-by-side races, is you expect very close action, and Sea Striker gets stuck on the snake, and Glower Green just needs to complete their section, and it looks like that they will do just that. And what a disappointment for Sea Striker. They had a brief lead on Glower Green, but that is going to cost them a chance at moving on. And who will face Glower Green? Will it be Space Black on the left or Cold Crusher on the right? They are very close through those pegs, and Cold Crusher appears to have the lead. It is still pretty close. Cold Crusher appears to still have the lead on Space Black, and Space Black out of nowhere takes the lead from Cold Crusher, who almost stalls in that loop, and that could very well cost them, as Space Black has a pretty big lead now on Cold Crusher, and one mistake is all it takes to ruin any chances of moving on, and that was the case there for Cold Crusher. Space Black will go against Glower Green in the next round. Match 7 is Blood Red on the left and Golden Viper on the right. And Golden Viper has the lead on Blood Red through those first few mazes, and it is pretty tight, and Blood Red falls off of the track, similar to Red Ranger having too much speed through that 180, and Golden Viper is just needing to complete the track himself to move on, and he will do just that. What a disappointment for Blood Red. Thankfully he is okay, because that could have been a disaster. Now we have Circus on the left and Sky Blue on the right for our final match of round 1. And like a few times already, it's actually vice versa when they actually race down the track. Circus nearly came to a stop on that maze and is falling a ways behind Sky Blue, but they're able to catch up in the snakes, and they ever so slightly have the lead. It's pretty close through the rails. Sky Blue retakes the lead on Circus, and that should show how not to lay your guard down, and thankfully it didn't come back to hurt Sky Blue. And they will face Golden Viper in the next round. We are now into round 2 with 8 marbles remaining, competing for 4 spots in the semifinals. We have Snowball on the left, Cotton Candy on the right. That becomes vice versa once the race begins. Snowball appeared to have the lead on Cotton Candy, but it is pretty close. Cotton Candy now appears to have the lead, and now they're really close between the loop, the pinwheel, and the snakes. Snowball appears to have the lead now on Cotton Candy. going through those rails and into the snakes. And now Cotton Candy catches up on Snowball, and they end up taking the lead in the maze. And they will get the first spot in the semifinals. Who will be facing them between Twilight Twister on the left, Mariana Trench on the right. And that last race really just shows how amazing these side-by-side races are, as you never know who can end up getting the victory at any point. Right there, Mariana Trench had the lead for the 180, and now Twilight Twister had the lead through the loop, despite briefly stumbling, and they almost stall in that snake, and Mariana Trench had the lead only to get stuck on the pinwheel, and now Twilight Twister is all by himself through the rails, and they just need to complete this maze. They almost come to a stop, but they get through and advance. What a disappointment for Mariana Trench, and that may have cost them a chance at the semifinals. Twilight Twister will take the second spot, who will take the third spot between Glow Green on the left, Space Black on the right. Glow Green almost stumbled on that starter, but they're able to get rolling, trailing Space Black, and now they appear to have the lead out of that maze. This might be another close match. Glow Green appear to have the lead onto the ramp, and it appears they have the lead now in Space Black, but it is still pretty tight. And certainly through these rails, Space Black seems to have the lead through that rail. And now Glow Green has the lead through the bumpers, and they will advance. What an epic quarterfinals round that we are getting. Could this happen again in our fourth and last match of round 2? Golden Viper on the left, Sky Blue on the right. And it is once again really close through the snakes to start off, and Golden Viper appears to have the lead right now going into the ramp, and now Sky Blue catches up, and it is very tight. Golden Viper makes it through that red snake, and I almost forgot to mention that there is a bit of an alignment difference on the rails closest to the camera, and it has made things a bit more competitive, and Sky Blue gets stuck in the bumpers maze. They essentially gave up, knowing they will not move on. We are now on to the semifinals with 4 remaining. Our first match will be Cotton Candy on the left and Twilight Twister on the right. The winners will move on to the finals, while the losers will fight for third place. But these marbles really want to compete for gold, and Twilight Twister certainly looks determined to fight for the gold medal. They currently have the lead on Cotton Candy, and they're going to try to keep it that way through these rails. And they keep that lead through the bumpers maze, and they will advance to the finals. Cotton Candy will still have a chance at third place though. Our second semifinals, Glower Green on the left, Golden Viper on the right. And it changes once they get onto the track. Golden Viper currently has the lead through the first half of this race right now, and they keep that lead entering the second half of the race, and they still have the lead as they go onto the rails. Glower Green is kind of falling behind, and Golden Viper almost stalls on one of the bumpers, but they will still win the race and will be in the finals with Twilight Twister. Before we get to that, we will have our third place match. Cotton Candy on the left, Glower Green on the right. Turns into vice versa once they enter the track, and Glower Green appears to have the lead, but now Cotton Candy might have the lead out of that maze. And even though these marbles are not competing for the gold medal, they can still come away with hardware from this tournament during this matchup. Glower Green appear to have the lead, and we now see just how close both of these competitors are, up close, no pun intended. And now Cotton Candy has the lead on Glower Green, and they will get third place and the bottom spot on the podium. And now the finals. Twilight Twister on the left, Golden Viper on the right. Who will win this marble race tournament? And Twilight Twister now has the lead, it appears. It is, though, really close out of the mazes. And now into the second half of the race, Twilight Twister almost stalls, but they make it through that loop, and they again have the lead through the snakes. It is pretty close through the rails, but Twilight Twister now appears to have more speed than Golden Viper, and they make their way with ease through that maze, and they win this marble race tournament, and getting the top spot on the podium with Golden Viper as the runner-up. Thanks for watching, everyone.